My name is Kaylin Daly. I'm 22 years old. I'm a senior. I just recently retired from the UK swim team and I swam for 17 years.
My name is Lydia. I'm from Madrid, Spain. I'm a senior and I'm in the Kentucky women's tennis team.
My name is Cadence Gormley. I'm a sophomore here at Kentucky and I'm 19 years old and I do gymnastics, and I've done gymnastics for 15 years. I started when I was 5 and here I am now.
I think I first recognized some of the symptoms of anxiety and depression that I was feeling in high school, mostly just because of the way that I was reacting to the stress around me. So I think my first 2 years of high school, when I would have a super busy schedule and I would be really overwhelmed, I could just kind of push through it. I didn't notice any physical symptoms from that. And then my last 2 years of high school, I noticed that when I would have a particularly stressful week, or I had a really big meet coming up, or I had a lot of school responsibilities, I would get so fatigued. It would be so hard for me to just get out of bed in the morning. I would start to have what I didn't know at the time was maybe panic attacks, having trouble catching my breath or slowing down my thoughts. So I think initially I thought that therapy was something that was wrong with me. It meant that I was broken or unhealthy or something like that. And I also thought that it was just going to fix me if I just showed up and talked about my feelings and let the therapist do all the work. Eventually, through the end of high school, after I'd been in therapy about a year, I had realized that both of those things weren't true. So first, that therapy was a totally normal thing that I think that everyone should go to, even if you don't feel like you necessarily have a mental health problem. Everyone has something that they can talk about. And also I realized that I have to put in the work when I go to therapy. So I can't just show up and expect my therapist to do all the work. I really have to come home and implement the tools that she gave me. I have to really be active about recognizing how my anxiety and depression are impacting my life and how I can use the strategies from therapy to try to combat those impacts on my life.
I got injured last season. I think it was March 24th of 2024. I was playing a match at Texas A&M, and then during the match, my singles match, I tore my ACL and part of my meniscus. As an international student, we were so far away from home, and my mom was having some health issues, and that really made me feel so stressed and anxious because I wasn't able to be right next to her, not only supporting her, but also my dad and my sister that had to deal with it by themselves.
I tore my ACL and meniscus freshman year, January 22nd, and it just was a fluke accident. I landed and I just immediately, I knew that something was off. I just was really scared. I just immediately I was flooded with is that my season? Is this it?
I was on a sort of medication for anxiety before coming to college, and I was able to come off of it through my work in therapy and through beneficial work before I came to college. And then when I got here to Kentucky and I started struggling with my mental health again, I ended up having to go back on medication for anxiety and for sleep. So I think that was really tough because I felt like all the work I'd put into therapy was a waste, or it had gone away because I was struggling again. And I know now that I was just struggling with different things, and I had to learn how to tackle those new things, just like I learned how to tackle the things that I had been dealing with in high school. So yeah, at the time it really felt like I was letting myself down and letting all the work I'd made down, but now I just realized that it was just part of the ups and downs, and that I was going to come out the other side having tackled all of those new challenges too. Between my sophomore and my junior year, we had a coaching staff change. Our new coaching staff really believes in the importance of mental health, and the pool became a place that was really positive, that had a great environment. I think we became a lot more supportive of each other, and it became a place that I just wanted to be and was excited to be with my friends and teammates and coaches instead of some place that I feared, I think. So it's kind of just that shift of mental health not being something that you had to shy away from anymore, something that you could talk about and celebrate and struggle with openly, I think helped me a lot, and I also noticed helped a lot of my teammates.
Before my surgery, all the negative thoughts were drawing me down. I feel like I was letting them take control all over me, and I was not taking responsibilities of my own actions. But after surgery, I realized that I'm the one responsible of my life, and that I can do whatever I want, and that showed during very powerful moments throughout my rehab, and that made me become a more positive person. I feel like now I approach things with like a way more positive mentality. I try to think about, okay, if this didn't go this way, maybe it's for a reason, and now you can learn from it, and now you can take it to the next step. Also not focusing on like just trying to get what I wanted to, but try to learn from everything that I'm going through. It is very tough and it takes time, and sometimes I also still struggle, but I feel like this change of mindset really showed on my performance and also on my happiness.
During my recovery, my teammates were awesome. They constantly reached out to me. They constantly made me feel involved and included. And although they reached out so often, I tended to say no to things because I felt not good enough, not like able enough to be part of these like social events from a physical standpoint, like, you know, a lot of standing and like stuff, but also I felt like I wasn't fun to be around because I was like the injured one that can't really do anything. And I put so much value in my success in my sport, and so when I'm not achieving in my sport and in school, I don't feel as like good of a person, and I feel like people don't want to be around that, and I don't want to bring anyone down with me. And so I feel like the loneliness that I felt during my recovery was self-created. So my injury was, like I said earlier, the hardest thing that I had to go through, but it was truly the best gift and the biggest blessing in disguise, because I found myself again through this injury. And I found new ways to contribute to my team too, with choreography and working with media. These were skills that I never thought I would pick up, because I've always just been so invested with gymnastics. And having this time to step back and search like more into who I really am, I found that these like creative outlets also are ways that I can like bring something to this team and to the world.
I think that if I was trying to give advice to someone who was in a similar part of their journey, or maybe they're in an environment that's not very supportive of mental health support, I would encourage them to try to find their community somewhere. Even when I got to Kentucky, I didn't know that there would be kind of the mental health group that I'm a part of now that I have found so helpful. And I didn't know that there was going to be the support of kind of this new coaching staff, the support of my family before. So I would encourage you to know that there are people out there who are struggling with what you're struggling with, whether you find them online or you find them through other avenues of your life. Just try to surround yourself with people who believe in you and believe in your struggles and want to support you. And just know that it's not a weakness. It's not always going to be straight and positive improvement. Sometimes you're going to dip back down into your struggles, and that's okay as well.
The biggest advice I would give somebody going through an injury is to always look for the silver linings in these situations, because as athletes, we don't often have a time to just step back and reflect on who we are as people. And I was blessed to have the opportunity to do that, and to find how I can be a person to someone else, and how I can be a person to my future self, and remind myself that at my core, I'm not a gymnast. I'm a person who loves others and who is resilient and who can get through any battle that's thrown her way.